So Jesus' neighbors, the kids he went to school with, the old people that hung out in the square, all of the young people that had been growing up, some of them maybe working with him in his carpentry shop after he was an adult. Like, they're all really mad at him. And they're ready to kill him. And as Luke tells the story, they're going to drag him off the brow of the hill and throw him down to his death. Scholars would suggest that Luke has taken this story from his source, from Mark's gospel that was compiled before his. And if we only read Mark or Matthew's version of this story, you could walk away with the thought that, because they tell it very briefly, you could walk away with the idea that this is just familiarity breeds contempt, that they knew Jesus too well. He grew up with them, and now he's claiming to be a great miracle worker, and they don't have room in their understanding of Jesus to accept that, and so they don't believe in him, and so he can't do any miracles, right? Like, that would be an almost acceptable way to read either of the other versions of the story. But when Luke tells the story, he wants to make it very clear that there's more happening here than this. This is about what they want and what God is offering and how they don't match. This is about them not being able to open themselves to the gift that God is giving, that he would have very readily given them. And it's a story of expectations. And I think that story is one that challenges us, that challenges me, much more than just some familiarity with Jesus being dangerous, right? So if you imagine, Nazareth was a pretty backwater place, right? Not the religious center of anything. Even Samaria, with its various idolatries and other issues, had been a religious center. If you go slightly west, northwest, you'd find the Megiddo Valley, Armageddon. If you go up to Carmel, you'd find the cave of Elijah. Down south, well, of course, where it's really Jerusalem, right? Where Judea and the temple and the town of the city of David, like these are important places. There's all of the places of the scriptures in the Old Testament. You're not going to find a lot of mentions of Nazareth. But finally, they have their prophet, right? They've heard the stories of Jesus. They know what he's been up to as he wandered all over the place. And now he's come home where he belongs, and he's going to be their prophet. But he doesn't agree to be owned by them. He doesn't accept their posturing of the situation. He doesn't, any more than when he's in Herod's palace, and Herod wants him to make a sign, a miracle, to do a magic trick, right? Jesus says, I don't do magic tricks, not even religious magic tricks. His signs and miracles were a concrete expression of the Father's love for anybody who is broken enough, hungry enough, desperate enough, open enough to accept that gift of love. And that's the relationship of faith that Luke will point out story after story after story. But we begin with this rejection because there wasn't faith. There wasn't an openness to receive this gift of love that God offered. I have a friend, I pray for her a lot, because this is still an unresolved issue. When her husband was alive, he had been going to church with some regularity. And so I got to know him, and she came a few times, and thought it was nice. And one time I was having dinner with him, and I reached out to her because I hadn't seen her in a while. And I said, hey, you were coming to church, right? I saw you, but I haven't seen you in a while. Is everything okay? she said, seriously, she said, I went 3 times and God didn't grant my wish. And just think how sad to think that the place of religion is to coerce God, to be able to twist God's arm, to get the things that we want. You know, that's magic, not religion. Right? It's magic to think that if I just say this series of incantations or prayers or novenas, I can get the divine to do something for me. It's magic to think that some charm or statue or scapular has powers that can do something for me. And religion is exactly the opposite. Religion is about helping us be open enough to connect to a God who already is trying to love me, already trying to bless me, already trying to give salvation and grace and to me. And that effort to connect to God, to be open enough for God to connect to us, it was missing in Nazareth. And sometimes maybe it's our risk, right? We start to think that we've got some rights built in here. I mean, after all, we belong to the true faith. That's got to be worth something. We have Eucharist. That's got to be worth something. I got all my sacraments, right? Like, it's a lot of work. You got to go to catechism. And I got all my sacraments. And so maybe that would put me ahead of somebody. But in Jesus's religion, in Christianity, it doesn't work that way. He loves those who have the greatest need, not the greatest rights. You don't get to accrue rights. Like you accrue rights in your pension, not in our religion. What we do is acknowledge our need, and where there is the greatest need, we can count on, we can be confident in the greatest love. And where we are strong and think that we have some coercive authority, that we can get something from God, that he owes us something, unfortunately, we can expect to be disappointed and angry like the people